New Conan novel coming out in October from Titanbooks. Let's talk about it. Welcome to World of Conan. So, welcome to World of Conan, and today we're talking about Conan, Blood of the Serpent. So, I don't know if you guys are familiar. This kind of was I didn't know about this, so that's why I'm covering it right now. Even though it's been in pre-order since March, it's coming out in October. And so yeah, let's talk about it. Conan returns. Get ready for Conan, Blood of the Serpent, out in October. So it's interesting. They've obviously chosen the author for the new book. I'm kind of unclear if it's. I'm assuming it's an ongoing series with the same author. I'm not sure though. But yeah, let's read a little bit about this from their website. It's a real challenge finding the right authors for new Conan novels. Yeah, that's true. So many factors play into creating dynamic new fiction featuring the world's most famous sword and sorcerer icon. That's very true. A lot of the Thor pastiche Conan novels, they very easily fall into the trap of being very mediocre, very basic. Yeah, obviously some books hit all the right marks, or many of the right marks, like Conan the Great. That was a good book. Conan and the Spider God, which I read, also was a good book. But then there's some not so good ones, quite a lot of mediocre ones. Anyway, let's continue. While the source material remains Robert E. Howard's extraordinary body of work, the vast majority of his output was fiction as short as 4,000 words or less, while a full-length novel that gives readers what they deserve needs to hover closer to 80,000 words or more. Telling a story of that length requires a specific skill set. Very true. At the same time, when launching an ambitious new fiction initiative, authors are needed who possess recognized credentials, enthusiastic audiences, and a genuine affinity for Howard's legendary character. A Conan novel has to be an event. Thus, we reach out to many of today's top fantasists. So this obviously talks about they met S.M. Sterling. Never heard of the man. Never read any of his books, but he is the new author. He seems to have a New York Times best-selling book, Dies the Fire, and George R.R. Martin gave some good reviews, but you know, those kind of peer speeches don't really mean anything. With an extensive body of work, Sterling has proven his ability to craft fantastic scenarios, compelling characters, intricate world building, and powerful action. When we sat down for lunch, I told him about the Conan initiative, and instantly his eyes lit up. Encouraged, I laid out our plans for the fiction program, and the conversation turned to our favorite Howard stories. Mine, I said, is Beyond the Black River. Yes, he replied, and that one has perhaps the best opening line. At that moment I knew I was talking to the right person. My own memories of the story were based in the feelings it had inspired, the tactile sensations it evoked. Steve knew Howard's work intimately. Here was a deep-rooted affinity to the source material. Frankly, I was impressed. That's some good stuff. Good news. Negotiations ensued with Steve's agent, and eventually he signed on for Conan, Blood of the Serpent. We wanted to place the adventure within the timeline of Howard's tales, and over the course of several outlines determined that it would lead into one of Steve's personal favorites, Red Nails. Red Nails is fantastic. One of Howard's best, considered one of his most darkest or most brutal, I think, of the Conan stories. I think it was his last one as well. Fantastic story, and the comic adaptation of it, the black and white one by Barry Winsor Smith, The Red Nails, that you can find in Savage Sword of Conan, is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic adaptation of that story. Really good. So that's cool that it's set in Canada, that leads to in between stores and that. I mean it's good either way. Guess that doesn't really in that sense matter, but anyway. Thus it will feature other elements Conan fans will find familiar, while being entirely accessible to readers who may come to the genre via Game of Thrones, The Witcher, works by authors like J. Christoph or Mark Lawrence. Conan Blood of the Serpent is slated to come out in October to commemorate a momentous landmark, the 90th anniversary of Howard's first Conan adventure, The Phoenix on the Sword, great story, which appeared in the December 1932 issue of Weird Tales. That story begat generations of unparalleled sword and sorcery adventure, and we're shooting to do the same. Excellent, excellent. So there you can go pre-order. I think you can pre-order it on Amazon. But this didn't really tell what the synopsis is or the plot is of the book, which I definitely know I saw in one of the on one of the sites, so that's what I looked up and I found it here on Titan's website. It says, talks a little bit more about the plot of the book itself. So it's a mercenary thief, soldier, usurper. Conan has faced conquering armies, wicked sorcerers and monstrous creatures wielding a savage sword that cuts a bloody swath across the Hyborian Age. In this all-new novel, tying directly into Howard's definitive canon, Conan is a paid mercenary in a remote Stygian town. There he meets Valeria of the Red Brotherhood, a brilliant swordswoman. This then ties with the Red Nails because she is in Red Nails, whose skills lead him to recruit her to the mercenary group. Her take-no-prisoners approach runs afoul of the corrupt politics, and a price lands on Valeria's head. Seeking to survive, she and Conan become entangled in the vengeful schemes of a priest of Set, the Serpent god. So, pretty classic in that sense. Stygia, an evil priest of Set. Well, basically they're all evil because Set is a god of darkness. So, let's see if it said something more. This is the first in a series of brand new officially licensed standalone adventures with spot illustrations throughout and a bonus, the original Red Nail short story by Robert E. Howard itself. So that would say standalone adventures then, so it's not like trilogies like a lot of fantasy authors do. Or more, because that would be kind of cool if they if they did a trilogy. They really had a good plot and they could flesh out different new characters and kind of really world build in that sense, give it more depth and yeah, I could kind of like to see that approach as well to the standalone adventures. Like really get it some additional depth. I think one of the books they made for at the time of the Age of Conan game, I haven't checked those, but there were like trilogies of books set in the Conan universe, or in the Hyborian world. I mean, I don't know if they featured Conan. I don't think Conan was the main guy in the books. It was about other characters, but still it had that classic 3-book fantasy style. So I'd like to check those out as well. But yeah, that's about it. So that's cool. We get the return of the Conan novels. Those have not been made since the 90s, I think. I think they stopped in the 90s. So S.M. Sterling, I didn't know about him at all. Here's some of the books he's done. He had an alternate World War II stories, which looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool. Then he had some kind of Emberverse storyline, Order of Change, I think. And yeah, that's about it. Quite a few books he's released. That's like about 20 books. So it's an experienced novelist. Good ratings, though I did see some negatives written there about quite a few of the books. So I mean, because at first I was thought about checking it out, but some of the negatives just kind of sounded, ooh, not something I would want to read. If it has that kind of stuff, I don't know. But the alternate history sounded pretty cool. Anyway, don't know any more about this new author. Do you know the guy? Have you read any of his books? What do you think? Are you hyped for the new Conan book? If so, let me know. What are your thoughts on the new Conan novel, Blood of the Serpent, coming out in October? I'll see you guys on the next video. Hails.